Welcome back to this series of Light Reading video chats. Terry Sweeney here with Light Reading. Joining me now is Kevin Wallenweber, Vice President of Product Management in Cisco's Service Provider Network Systems Business Unit. Kevin, appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah, great. Thanks to be here, Terry.
The topic du jour is routed optical networking. Before we dive into the whys and wherefores, can we start with just a definition of what RON, or routed optical networking, is for those viewers who may be coming to it fresh?
Yeah, definitely. Routed optical networking is a network architecture that really enables us to take advantage of some technology changes that we've been able to drive over the last few years. We're taking very high capacity, very efficient routing infrastructure, and technology from companies like Acacia, which Cisco acquired, that allow us to take optical DSP technologies, put them into transceivers, and put them into routers. And so converging the technologies together is one thing, but routed optical networking is really about taking those new tools and building blocks and building a fundamentally different network architecture. So simplifying the layers of the network and trying to drive operational simplicity for customers.
Simplicity, speed, capacity, those are all important to carrier and service providers. All that being said, why is RON having its moment now? Why are people so excited about it?
Yeah, I think from a technology perspective, we've actually been trying to integrate routing and optical together for a while now at Cisco. We did some things about a decade ago where we took our DSP technologies and integrated them into routers. But we didn't have quite the right mix of components or matchup of those components. And so we're entering this period of time where the internet's obviously growing at a rapid pace and continuing. Customers really need to transform not just the network itself, but how they operate the network. And the reality of the last 2 years, as we've all been dealing with COVID and kind of a transformation of how we use the network's never been more critical than it is today. And so sort of the combination of those and the need to handle the scale growth that we expect to see over the coming years is really driving people towards looking at architectures like this.
Thanks for that. What are some of the benefits or outcomes that customers can expect as they transition to routed optical networking?
Yeah, really what we're doing is we're collapsing layers in the network and actually simplifying the operational planes of the network itself. So instead of having these independent optical and TDM and routing layers, each with their own operational characteristics and tools, by integrating those transceivers into the routers and by building this network architecture, we're creating a simplified network layer. And the value is, yes, there's CapEx benefits because we're actually eliminating complete pieces of equipment from the network. But I think the real value is actually in the efficiency and the operational savings. So by eliminating those layers, moving to a common operational paradigm, we're allowing customers to simplify how they operate the network and really build much more efficient network infrastructures for the growth that we expect to see. All that combines to give us CapEx savings, OpEx savings, and really prepare us for some of these more modern automation tools and technologies that are coming to market.
It sounds like that approach would also simplify the management aspects for carriers and service providers.
Absolutely. We actually merged our automation teams with our routing teams about 1.5 years ago. And so both those teams fall together in the same organization. And the benefit is to drive exactly what you just described, which is how do we simplify how we operate the network, how we manage the network, and how do we get a better visibility into what's happening in the network infrastructure itself. So we've acquired some technologies. We acquired a company called Sedona almost 1 year ago, really with the goal to give hierarchical visibility into both the routing and the optical layers, which is something we didn't see in other tools that existed in the market.
Thanks for that. In a recent vendor ranking report on routed optical networking, Cisco was ranked a leader and ahead of its normal competitors. What differentiates Cisco from these other vendors? And if you can tell us what's in the pipeline, like what do you see coming with RON and Cisco?
Yeah, definitely. I think at a high level, these are complex technologies and require pretty significant investment. You look at the acquisition of something like Acacia, that was a over $4 billion of investment. But it's more than just the technologies that you get today. It's the ability to continue to evolve those technologies over the next few years. So when you kind of look at the ASIC investments and system investments we've made with platforms like the Cisco 8000, the Acacia acquisition and the technologies that we get there, and then the automation and visibility tools that I was just describing, like what we have with Sedona, or what we call our Crosswork hierarchical controller. I think it gives us a breadth across all these different technologies that's going to be difficult for competitors to match. When you look at what's coming, 400 gig, especially when you look at these ZR and ZR plus optics, are fairly nascent. It's fairly new to the market, and we're starting to see deployments now. And so I expect to see, as these high density platforms like the 8000 ramp significantly over the next few years, and as technologies like 400 gig ZR and ZR plus become much more widely adopted, I expect to see a very, very rapid adoption of architectures like routed optical, because of the benefits they provide for customers.
The scale starts to boggle the mind, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it's crazy to me that we're even doing this remotely, and everything we've done in our work lives has changed over the last 2 years. And so we also think that it gives us flexibility to evolve as the usage of the network changes over the coming years as well. So we think it's beneficial now, but as the network grows and as we transform what we do on the network, the possibilities are endless.
Well, great context on routed optical networking, Kevin. Appreciate you joining us for this light reading video chat today.
Thanks, Derek. Appreciate it.
We've been talking with Kevin Wallenweber, Vice President of Product Management in Cisco's Service Provider Network Systems Business Unit. This has been Terry Sweeney for Light Reading. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time.